last week's photo and this week's photo are kind of similar, but way different. They both involve a bug or an insect on something, and that's kind of the main gist of this photo and last week's photo. But aside from that, they could hardly be more different. This is all dirty and browns and greens, and last week's was lively and there was purples and yellows. And when you first look at this photo, you might think, like, what is happening? What's this giant brown ball doing on my computer screen? So let me explain what's going on here. This is a big fuzzy caterpillar on a tennis ball. Now, the background for this is we were going on a walk on a rainy spring morning, my wife and I and our kids. This is during the with all the quarantine and lockdown going on. We're just going on a walk, which we did, or I still do almost every day. And my kids saw this giant fuzzy caterpillar on the edge of the road. So we all stopped and we're taking a look at it. And we didn't really, I mean, it was just a caterpillar. It's not like that big a deal or anything. But I had my camera with me, my D7100 and my 50mm lens. And I've really enjoyed taking that on our walks because you find interesting things to take photographs of. And I didn't really know, I mean, my first instinct was I got to take a picture of this caterpillar, but I didn't really know how to take a picture of this caterpillar that would be interesting. And also, I didn't want to get in the way of my kids who were kind of fascinated by this caterpillar. So I just let it go. And after a little while, we said, kids, we got to go. So we kept on going to the walk, no big deal. And then on the return of the walk, the same caterpillar, I'm guessing was the same caterpillar. I don't know. It looked very similar. It was on the other side of the road next to this dirty, wet tennis ball. And my kids no longer cared about the caterpillar. They were back at home. So I stopped for a minute. And this is maybe 200 yards from our house. So I didn't like abandon my kids in the middle of the road or anything. So I thought, well, I'm going to try and take a picture of this caterpillar. And maybe I can use this tennis ball as some sort of context for understanding the photo. So that's what I tried to do here. I took the tennis ball and I put it near the caterpillar and kept on turning it until the caterpillar walked up on it. And then I set it in the grass. And I wanted to get a shot. Well, what I had in mind is pretty much what you see here, the caterpillar at the top of the tennis ball. And I shot this at f2.8 because I wanted to get the caterpillar nice and sharp, but the background and even the foreground blurry. I actually wish I would have shot a little shallower, a little smaller aperture for a little wider depth of field, because the front of the tennis ball is kind of blurred out. And I wish the entire tennis ball would be in focus. So this is 2.8. Maybe if I shot at 3.3, that would have worked. Maybe f4, but f4 would have been maybe a little too wide of a depth of field. So 2.8, I don't know. It is what it is. I think it works out okay. And I kept on turning the tennis ball so that the caterpillar would kind of crest the top and then continue crawling down. So I had just a very small window of time to take the picture. So I'd turn the tennis ball, wait for the caterpillar to crawl up, take a few shots, turn it again, and repeat that process a little bit. There's no close-up filter involved here. If there were, you could get a really nice zoomed-in shot of just the caterpillar itself. But as it is, it's just the caterpillar and tennis ball. And I think it makes for an interesting photo, but I don't know, just the dull browns of this of the whole picture, it's just not as appealing to me. I wish it would have been a clean green tennis ball so you could see a nice contrast between the caterpillar and tennis ball. You don't even know it's a tennis ball really, because there's like a stick on the left hand side. Unless you see the LOP on the right hand side, I think it's a Dunlop tennis ball. So you can kind of look at this for a second and realize, okay, this isn't just a rock or a stick or something. So I'm not like trying to make a grand statement here or do anything groundbreaking. It was just an interesting picture to take, a little challenging, and it was a fun time for me as we're going out on these walks and taking my camera with and seeing what you can find.